All right, so today is our November 15th, 2017 Business Club meeting. James Parker, our club president, is here today, thankfully. We've missed him for the last couple weeks. And our secretary, for those of you that aren't aware, is Carly Gudmundson. And so if you do not have your last name in your Zoom identifier, please type it in the chat so Carly can take down those minutes, which I post in the Business Club course. Kaylin, can you hear me a little bit better now? Cool. Well, I'm glad you took the time to join us even though you're driving. So last time when we were talking, we had just finished our series on the 7 habits of highly effective people, and we talked about some things that everyone in the club wanted to discuss in future meetings. And the one thing that came up, if you remember, was marketing and starting to market a small business, everything else. And the first person that I thought of was Meredith here. And luckily she agreed to come tonight and present for us. She owns a company here in Loveland, Colorado called Marketing Maiden, and she does social media marketing. So I'm just going to go ahead and turn the time over to her, except Meredith, do you want to hold questions or do you want to take questions as...
You guys can put questions into the comment box and I'll read them, but I'll stop at the end where it makes sense. So go ahead and put them in. I can kind of do both at the same time.
Perfect. Okay, I'm going to turn off my mic and the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you. So first, I just want to make sure that everyone can see and hear me correctly. So if someone could just let me know that we're good to go, you can see all the red here and you can hear my voice okay. Just want to make sure we're good. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. So today I'm really, really excited, very honored that everyone has welcomed me here. I'm really excited to share with you all that I've learned with both starting my business, being a business owner, and then helping other people market their business. So I'm going to send you guys a few links and give you guys some really helpful information. For anyone who's watching this as a recording, I'll make sure that your instructor has all those links so that you guys have access to them too, even though you can't see the chat box. So really the first thing I want to do is kind of introduce myself. My name is Meredith. I own Marketing Maiden here in Loveland. About 2 years ago, I started my own company. I had been working for Constant Contact before that, and I decided to kind of start my own company. And it's been really wonderful. You know, starting your own business has a lot of challenges. It's a really unique opportunity and experience, but I've loved every minute of it. And, you know, I kind of got here through an interesting way. And I think this happens to a lot of business owners. They're not sure that's what they want to do. I actually had thought for a while that I was going to go into the military. I had signed up for West Point, and that was kind of the flow that I was going on. And then I had just kind of stumbled across a marketing club. It's in my high school, it was called DECA. In college, it was called DEX. Let me know if any of you guys had participated in that. It's a great program, and it really taught me so much about marketing and helped me find my passion for something that I was excited about. So after I kind of decided that marketing is the thing that I loved and I was really, really wanting to do with my life, I went to school at Johnson & Wales in Rhode Island. I got my bachelor's in marketing with concentrations in graphic design and financial planning. And then I also got an associate's degree in advertising because I wanted to be really well-rounded for when I kind of hit that corporate world and I was going to take it all by storm. So had a really good foundation in college. But something that was really interesting that I learned over time is there's little pieces and bits of information that I didn't learn in college that I really wish I did. They just didn't prepare me for all that kind of extra stuff. And that's what I want to talk to you guys today about. Give you some insight about what it's really like to work with small businesses, what types of tools you need to help small business market their business better, and what you can do now to help prepare yourself with whether you're starting your own business or you're going to be doing marketing for another business, kind of help you be a better marketer. So I'm really, really excited about this. So I'm going to jump in and kind of take off. So if you guys have any questions or anything that you want to make sure I cover, go ahead and put it in the chat box. Like I said, I'm happy to take questions as we're kind of talking. So like I said, when I left college, I was really prepared in a way with doing and running small business marketing and helping marketing businesses. The first thing that I did when I got out of college is I started working for a bank in New Jersey, because that's where I lived at the time. And I did all of their analytics marketing. So I worked in their department to pull giant reports and do all of the analytics side to marketing. And that job pretty much ate my soul. It wasn't something that I really liked doing. The corporate world really wasn't for me as much as I thought it was going to be. I wanted to be, you know, the boss lady, wear suits every day. It really wasn't something that was for me. And it was really kind of an atmosphere that just didn't jive with me correctly. So I soon kind of moved from that, moved out here to Colorado, and I started working after a few jobs for Constant Contact, which many of you probably know. Is in kind of fading, but it is an email marketing company here in Loveland. And I kind of rose up through the ranks. I started just the call center and I rose up through the ranks. And then I ended up starting an entire team there. And this team was designed to help small businesses with email marketing. And I had done email marketing in the past, but it wasn't something that I was overly familiar when I got my job at Constant Contact. But as I kind of grow and I started this, I learned so much about email marketing, so much about small businesses, and just so much about what I really wanted to do. And I got to a point where, you know, I knew I was running the team and I was doing a great job, so I might as well leave and make a ton more money and start my own business. And that's why I left and kind of started Marketing Maiden. It's been, like I said, a fantastic ride. But there's a few things that I've learned that I want to share with you guys today. So when I left my college, like I said, I had great know-how. I knew how to create SWOT reports like the best of them. I knew how to pull analytics. I knew all of the actual steps to do everything. I had all of that know-how, but I really discovered that I was losing or missing some knowledge, some important pieces that just kind of you have to learn when you're out there. So that's what I'm going to share with you guys today. And that's kind of the topic of this whole presentation, is the knowledge and know-how of small business marketing. So we're going to jump into the first section. That's really the knowledge, those pieces that you don't know that you need. You don't know how important they are until you're out there in the real world helping small businesses do all their marketing, whether it's on social media, whether it's print advertising, no matter what type of marketing it is, it's really important to know these elements. So the first thing that I want to share with you is knowing your customer. And this is so important as a small business and a small business marketer, knowing your customer. I can't tell you how many times I go and I sit down with a potential customer, someone who I'm going to do some work for, and I ask them, you know, who is your ideal customer? Who are you trying to reach? And it's so funny, the response. Most of them kind of look a little bit scared, a little bit nervous, and they kind of think about who their ideal customer is, but they don't really know who their ideal customer is. And that's really hard. And I know you guys have probably heard this before in different ways: building your customer avatar, finding out who your ideal customer is, finding your soul client. There's a lot of different words for what this process is of getting to know who your ideal customer is. So I'm going to share with you guys something that's off of my website that I created for my customers. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in the chat box, and then I'm going to share my screen so everyone can see it. Perfect. All right, you guys should be sharing my screen now and seeing everything. So this is what I have all of my customers do, whether I'm asking them the questions or I have them fill it out. It's just a ideal customer persona. Whether you call it, like I said, persona, avatar, ideal customer, doesn't really matter what you call it. It's all pretty much the same thing. And the problem is, most of the time, small businesses won't do this because it usually takes so much time. You see these documents that are 5-6 pages each, and they just want to know every single habit and thought that a customer might have, and it doesn't need to be that complicated. So this is one of the main things I wish that I knew when I went into marketing for myself, and that is to simplify who your ideal customer is, to know your customer before you start marketing. So this document, I broke it up into 5 really simple steps. It's who, what, where, when, and why. And all of you can remember those because that's how we write. So you just need to know who your ideal customer is, and don't just think if that's all you have, but try and get analytics around this. Who is your ideal customer? What age are they? You know, what gender are they? What education level do they have? What's their household income? Do they have a specific job title or position or family size? Depending on what you're marketing, you don't have to answer all of these demographic questions, but just have a base information. any type of advertising that you're going to be doing, besides print, any online advertising, it's going to ask you, or you're going to do better if you know how old the person is that you're trying to target, if they're male or female, what languages do they speak. That's really important information to make sure your ads are laser focused to the right customers, so you get the best turnaround and the best value for all of your ads. So you want to know who they are, and that's simple demographic information. You want to know what, and this is something that most businesses don't ever really sit down and think out, but what are their pain points? What problems do they ultimately want solved? So if they're a plumber, they're calling you and they need, their pain points is their plumbing isn't working. They need you. If you're doing marketing, that's a little bit harder. What friction points, what pain points are there going to be that they need you? This is extremely vital in the marketing process, because you need to find out what kind of situations are going on in someone's life that they would need you, because that's what you're going to be marketing about. You don't say, hey, are your pipes in good order? Well, if they are, call our plumbing service. That's not what you market. You market the problem, the pain point, the friction point, because that's the emotional point. So you need to know what those are before you start marketing those to potential customers. And you want to know where the customers are. Now, most of the time, this is pretty easy. If they have a brick and mortar location, it's just usually 25-mile radius of where they are is a general good kind of starting point. But if you're a digital service, that's a lot harder to know where you should be advertising, where your ideal customer is, and you can do a lot better when you target your market with specific locations. So this is what I always tell customers. You've already figured out who your demographic is. So say you're a company here in Loveland and you're a digital service. You kind of know who your base customer is. You can kind of look at who they are, their age range, their demographics. And then you want to find other places that have similar age range and demographics. Maybe that's, Portland, Oregon. Maybe that's Seattle, Utah, or Seattle, Washington. Maybe that's Salt Lake City, Utah. Whatever it is, find 2 or 3 different areas that have similar demographics to your ideal customer, and that's where you can focus your marketing. Because if you are advertising, your VA services, if you're just doing a Facebook ad to all of America, you're probably wasting a lot of money. You're not going to be hitting the right people. But if you're doing your VA services to people in New York City and people in Los Angeles and other kind of high, Miami, really fancy areas, that message is a whole lot different than if you're selling your VA services to Chicago or to Texas. So you want to kind of identify ideal areas and just kind of focus on those. So that's a really helpful tip for digital services, and something that usually really hurts people who do digital services. They just don't know how, or even if they do SaaS services, this will work for them. And then you want to know when. So this is very similar to the what, but when will they need to buy your product or service? And this is a lot of seasonal type information. If you're lawn care, you're going to focus a lot of your advertising in March and April. You're probably not going to focus a lot of your advertising in November and December, unless you do snow removal and that type of stuff. If you're a digital marketing service, then maybe around Christmas time is when you pump it up. The holidays, people need more service there, or the new year. If you're a fitness trainer, the new year, that's when you're going to reach out to your customers. So you want to really identify when they're going to need your product for the time of the year or the time of the week or anything like that. But also you want to identify when in the sales cycle do you really need to hit certain triggers. And I won't get too far into this, but if you are a service, say maybe you sell big servers or something like that in Greeley, you have a server farm and you sell out space, that proposal, that commitment is going to be a 3-month process. So when in that sales cycle do they need you most? Identifying that key points of when you're going to be targeting your advertising, targeting your marketing, that's important to kind of know when. So whether if you're a seasonal product, when is your season? If you're kind of a longer term product, when is really in your sales cycle? When do you have to hit them with certain messages? And the last one is why. Why do they need your products and services? Why are you better than your competitors? And what benefits do they seek? So there are hardly any unique services out anymore. Pretty much anything that you want to do, there's someone else doing that. So why do they need you? And I'll dive into this a little bit more later. But that's really important as well, is knowing, why do they need your product and service? What makes you better? And actually asking a customer, why did you need my service? I do a lot of work with a dentist here in town that does dental implants. So it's an elective service. It's an elective $40,000 service. When we ask the customers why, the patients, excuse me, why did you need this service? It's a whole lot different than why someone needs a plumbing service or why someone needs an email marketing service. So knowing that, it's really important. It really helps you connect emotionally to your customers a little bit more, potential clients, and helps you better with your marketing strategy. So I'm going to go ahead and stop that share. So that's really my first point, is that I wish I knew coming out of school. Something that really has helped me is truly getting to know the customer, getting to know about them, getting to know what makes them tick. And these sheets, they usually take about 10 minutes or so to do. They don't take a super long time, and small businesses love that. So I hope all of you feel free to use that, and anything that you want, take it, make it your own. It's a really, really helpful tool.